Okay, number 2, 36 inches squared. 4, 66 millimeters squared.
Hold on, sorry. I just have 36 inches. Why is it square?
Because area is a distance times a distance, so it's inches times inches, which is inches squared. So it's important to understand this is a place where it's confusing. Great question, glad you asked it. So the units are squared, so the answer is 36 inches squared, and it's important to understand because this is a place where people can get confused sometimes. Only the units are squared. The answer isn't like 36 squared, which would be like 600 and some odd or whatever it is, right? So only the inches are squared. Great question. Great question. Yes, sir? In fact, this is important, so I'm going to add one more thing. So understanding this and understanding like the squared units means area, cubed units means volume and stuff like that. That'll help you all the way to like physics. Because if you get to a physics problem and you've got meters per second squared, then you know you're talking about acceleration. You're like, okay, that goes in that formula. So when you get these big old uglinesses, if you understand like this unit goes with this thing, then it makes all that stuff a lot easier. So not only did you ask a good question, but this is a good primer in making sure we understand where this goes for the future. So that's good thoughts. Okay. Now what do I do with my eraser? Did you decide you actually had a question or not so much? Just the other day, what'd you say? Okay, great. I don't know what you said still, but I'm sure you'll ask if you have a question. Okay, number 4 is 66 millimeters squared. Number 6 is 16 centimeters squared. Excuse me. Number 8 is 3.1 meters squared. And note that, so if you did 3.1, with a bunch of other numbers, it says in the instructions to round in the nearest tenth. So make sure we're reading the instructions and rounding where it says to round, right? Okay. Number 10 is 78.5 inches squared. 12 is 3.1 kilometers squared. 14 is 162.9 millimeters squared. 16 is 490.9 feet squared. Excuse me. And is that where we stopped? Yeah. Nice. Okay. What questions do we have on that lesson?
Number 4.
2 and 4. Let's do both of them. Sounds great. All right. So starting with number 2, it gives us the square for the sake of the recording more than anything because y'all have it right in front of you. But for number 2, it gives us a square, which I'm not going to draw perfectly, but I'll put tick marks on it so it is perfect even if it's not perfect. Right? That's what we learn in that's one of the things we learn in like geometry class later is that if it doesn't say it, it's not true. But the other cool converse of that is I can draw a picture like this and then go like this and this and this and this. And now what I have drawn is a square. So, you can do all kinds of fun things with that. But anyway, back to the problem at hand. Number 2.
That square is set.
That's a great square. What are you talking about? It's beautiful. It's got a great personality and everything. And so it tells us that this is 6 inches, and it wants us to find the area of the figure. It doesn't say what to round to or anything like that if we have to. But, so what kind of shape is this? It's a square. So, how do we find the area of a square? Side squared, right? So because it's length times width, and so that'll be 6 times another 6, right? Or 6 squared, because that's what squared means, right? So the answer for area would be 6 squared. So it would be 36, and then the units is inches, so squared inches. Oh yeah, Yep. And so you ended up with 6 to the 4th on accident. Like on what now?
I'm saying like 10.
On number 10 or on what? You're totally fine.
For like triangle, I just did 12 times 11.
Okay, so on 4, were you asking for 4 as well? Yeah, was that yours, or was yours a different number? Yeah, 4 as well. Okay, so on 4, so you would do 12 times 11 first. What kind of shape does it say it is on number 4? A triangle. So it has a base of 12 and a height of 11, right? Well, I'll look at the units here in a second. Right, so what's the formula for the area of a triangle?
It's length times height times 0.5.
Yeah.
Half.
So generally write base, but length is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
So base times height, and either times a half or divided by 2. You can write it either way, right? So you would do 12 times 11, but then you have to divide it by 2 to get the answer, since it's a triangle. So you just missed that part. Does that make sense? Good. What about you? Did we answer your question right?
No.
So you plug in the base here and the height here, divided by 2. And then you punch 12 times 11, enter, divide by 2, enter. Did you figure out where you something
I
happened?
just did the formula wrong, that's why.
Okay, that's good.
Can we do 8?
We can. We can certainly do 8. Oh yeah, 8's exciting.
8 through 16, I did the formula for circle, but it just kept saying error.
Okay, so something may be going on in the calculator. So make sure you're punching it when we're doing them here, so we can see if we can figure out what's going on. Okay. I have a guess already what it might be, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay, so we got a quarter circle. Quarter circle with a,
Diameter of 4 meters.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I know.
That's kind of dumb. Why did they, this, problems like this, math, like I like the quarter circle, that's great, but the problems like this annoy me because there's like, well, I guess maybe in design, like there's almost no way you would ever do this in real life, like ever. You would always, like even if we were building a circle like with a CAD program or like woodworking, you would always be using the radius, especially if it's a whatever. So
I thought that the radius was 2, but I don't have the right answer.
but you don't have the right answer. So I wonder if they're, okay, so it would be, let's see. So to find the area of a quarter circle, this is where we get a little wacky. So let's back up. What is the formula for the area of a circle? Let's start there.
Pi times radius squared.
That's right. Pi times the radius squared. Now, so if it's a fourth of a circle, what are we going to have to do to this formula? Yes. I'm going to have to divide it by 4. And so we're going to assume, I'm going to assume like you did, and let's see if we get the same answer and the same whatever else and see what happens. So we're going to put 2, because we're going to assume that the diameter and then the radius is 2, right? Pi times 2 squared over 4. So you can punch that all in your calculator. 2 squared is 4. But before you punch it in your calculator, what do you notice is going to happen here? Before we even punch something in the calculator, what can we do?
Fours will cancel.
Yes, they will. So the area is pi. So 3.14159. We've got to round to the nearest tenth, so 3.1 meters squared. So you must have done something. What did you did? Did you figure it out?
I just divided it wrong.
Gotcha.
First of all, for some reason, I saw 4 as the radius.
Right. Yeah. You assumed that they were going to be doing it like a sane human would be doing it and giving you the radius for a quarter circle instead of the diameter for a quarter circle. Yeah. Yeah. Just read it wrong. Oh yeah.
Can we
And
do
I
10?
didn't look at this, I was like, what is this?
Gotcha. Okay. What?
Can we do 10?
I'd love to do 10. I bet you just punched something wrong on. Oh, are we still figuring out what the error is? Maybe it won't happen today. That's what happens. You know, you something's happened with your computer and it's doing something stupid, and then you take it to the technician, and then it never happens when you take it to the technician, and then you take it back home and it happens again. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so we got a circle with a radius of 5. We're supposed to find the area. So what's the formula for area of a circle? I'll try again. What's the formula for area of a circle?
5 times radius squared.
Right. Times radius squared. So it'd be pi times 5 squared. So do whatever you did and see if you get the error. Yeah, okay, so that's not an error. That's just not the decimal. So,
I actually got an error when I did it. I didn't
Okay.
put in parentheses, I guess. Yeah. That is pi.
well, do it the way you think you did it at home and see what happens.
I did this. An error.
Okay, so what the problem is it doesn't know. So that would work if you do pi times 2, oh, not that. What is it? 5 squared. So it didn't know that it didn't know that there was a times there. It got confused. So it's a good idea, even if you put the parentheses, when there's multiplication, even as parentheses, it's good habit to, in your calculator, push the times button.
Yeah,
So.
sometimes I did put this times button, but I got this and I was like, aren't I supposed to get a decimal?
Right. Yeah, so you just have to hit that fraction. If you hit that S to D button or whatever it is,
Okay.
it'll give you the decimal equivalent. Yeah. Easy peasy. That's great. That's great. What other questions do we have on this lesson?
16.
16. Okay. We've got a circle with an area of 25 feet. So, I say area 25 feet, I meant a diameter of 25 feet. So, what is the radius? 12.5 squared. Do what? Yeah, totally fine. So 12.5 squared is what?
490.
12.5 squared is not 490. Possibly if you take that times pi, you get 490. Actually, well, yeah, maybe.
156.25.
All right. So now when we multiply that times pi, what do you get?
490.8.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I am, yeah, we're supposed to round to the nearest tenth, so it'd be 490 point what?
Not 9. I'm annoyed because I did it right the first time and then I checked myself and got a different answer. And I checked it again and got the wrong answer.
Oh no,
So
oh
the
no.
right answer is scratched out.
Oh,
Why?
that's so sad.
So sad. Heart broken.
Heart equals broken. I'm telling you, man, the more I'm about why are these not the go-to? Because the more I play with Casio different things, the more I'm sold.
What's the difference between that calculator?
This is a graphing calculator. He's a fancy schmancy boy, but this is one of the things that got me to look at Casio. This particular Casio is the one, because this, the cheapest TI graphing calculator is $80 on sale, right? And so that's the cheapest TI calculator. This calculator It's a stripped down, simplified, a little bit smaller version, a little bit smaller screen. He cost $55. It's like the cheapest, like proper full function graphing calculator in existence. And it's great. Like, I love Casio stuff these days. I'm about sold. It's great. The most expensive one is like $1,500, and it's called a computer. Yeah, no, about the most expensive for like a handheld graphing calculator is like a couple $100. Yeah, fancy schmanciness. The TI-89 or I think the Casio, their high-end one is like all touchscreen and whatever. It's got like this tiny little keyboard, physical keyboard, and this big old huge screen thing on it.
It also has like a mouse.
Yeah, the one, so like the one that Bree's using is a TI Inspire, and it has a little trackpad. But I prefer the touch screen. Like the HP Prime has a touch screen. It's nice. We are going to totally do a quiz. You got the formulas memorized? Y'all know the formulas? You got to have them memorized. That's the rules. What? Yeah. QUIZ. Yeah. Remember the Q always has a U after it. That's one of the rules in English that I can't think of a single exception. Pretty much every rule in English is like, yeah, that's always true except this word. But I don't think there's any word where there's not a U after it. We found a perma rule in English. That's unusual. See, that's one of the things that's better about math than English is, I think so, is you look at the one I gave back and it's one up from that. Was that 4? Does it say 4 on the one I gave back today?
Yep. Yes.
Where did you?
It's photographed from a base like what? Sorry, I can't see it.
Quiz
Ooh, okay.
05. So that means we don't have a test quite as soon as what I thought we were going to have. Let me say this and then put the recording on there, and I'll turn the recording off. But let me see when our quiz is, because I know we are having a quiz pretty soon. But maybe it's not a test. That's what I meant. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. I was going to keep confusing everybody. What is this class? Algebra 1? Yes. Yeah, so we have, because we have 2 lessons after that. Yeah, because it's a 2-lesson day because it's Tuesday. Yeah, so it's still the same as what I thought. So we have our first test is on Thursday, a week from today. That'll all come, announcement for it will be out on Google Classroom in a few minutes. Okay. So we're going to do quiz 05, page P28. Don't be so excited, Joe. Calm down. We're going to do 1 and 7 and 11. Look at that. You were right this time. That's a one for 3, I think.